Yes, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Warzone Jones here again. You know, I want to talk about the Attitude Era, man. The Attitude Era. I have done a video before on the Attitude Era, and I was talking about why it was better than the current era, which was known as the PG era. You know, so it's the Attitude Era versus the PG era. Check that video out. It's one of my first videos that I ever got 1,000 views on. But you know, what I want to talk about is just the feeling back then of watching wrestling back in the late 90s when the Attitude Era was kicking off. Wrestling was changing. It was changing. It was becoming more edgier. It was becoming more, adult rated. The whole kid element, that they had before the Attitude Era with the whole like superhero prevailing thing. That was slowly dying out, and it was just becoming lame. That's why Hulk Hogan became Hollywood Hulk Hogan. He wasn't Hulkamania. He was just Hollywood Hulk Hogan. He had to change because, well, that whole superhero thing, that was getting old and boring. The whole rock and wrestling, that was getting just old and boring, and it wasn't working anymore. So at this point, wrestling was adding more realism into wrestling. It was having more realism to it. Guys wasn't having these weird gimmicks. You had a couple of gimmicks here and there, but those guys weren't getting over because, once again, that style was getting old. It was getting boring. It was stupid now at this point. It was just plain old stupid. So everything was getting edgy and it was more real. So he was getting characters like Austin. He was getting The Rock because, The Rock was doing the whole babyface thing too, and it wasn't working for him. And you could tell that's why he changed. He went from Rocky Maivia to The Rock. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, I'll lay the smackdown on your candy ass. Things like that. So you had a lot more swearing into the Attitude Era. You had a lot of stuff that you will probably see on the Jerry Springer show, and with action. So it was like a lot of sex, a lot of violence, sex and violence, and just entertainment. And it was really, really, really entertaining. Now around this time, these wrestlers in the Attitude Era, they weren't the best wrestlers in the world. It was about characters. It was about characters. You had to have a really, 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 really good, edgy character. So Road Dogg, he had a really, really good, edgy character because what he was doing before that wasn't nothing. It was crap. The same thing with Billy Gunn. He was doing this whole rockabilly thing like that. That was crap. So he did an edgier character too. He became a badass Billy Gunn. So The Rock, Road Dogg, X-Pac, all these guys, even Triple H, especially Triple H, all these guys had to change because wrestling was changing. And when all of these guys changed, that's really when these guys' career began to take off. Like it shut off. Stone Cold Steve Austin, his career shut off when wrestling was changing. It needed to change. WCW, I didn't say that word right. WCW was kicking their ass in the ratings. So they had to change. Vince McMahon saw this, and he saw that they had to change. So the reality is this: if it wasn't for the Attitude Era, you wouldn't have got the WWE today. And that is the absolute truth. If it wasn't for the Attitude Era, you would have not got the WWE today because the Attitude Era saved the WWE. And that is the truth. The Attitude Era saved the WWE. So that's one of the reasons why that is the greatest era in wrestling to me. Around this time, if you missed Raw, that was it. You missed it. If you didn't record it on your VCR, you missed it. Because back then, the internet, you couldn't just pick up a show, just like that on the internet. You couldn't. You couldn't DVR. You couldn't just find other ways to watch the show. If you missed it, that was it. Because the internet wasn't as big as it is now. Because nowadays, if you miss a show, all you got to do is really type it in on YouTube and maybe somebody upload it, probably more than likely. So out of all the millions and millions of fans, at least 1,000 of them probably uploaded the show for some reason. So if you missed it back then, that was it. Unless you recorded or unless you watched Livewire, which was their recap show, that was it. You had missed it forever. Back then, wrestling, I was like 9 years old, 10 years old. So when I saw these girls, oh God, Sable, Trish Stratus when she had first came, Lita, these were some of the finest women in the world. And you couldn't help but say, damn, I want to be with her. Or no, oh, I want to grab on her, especially Sable. When she took all those pants off, all her clothes off, and she had this, painted She had like painted her body naked, and you know, Sable. People wanted to bang Sable. That's just how it was. She was too damn fine. Trish Stratus too. Around this time, man, like wrestling was just so cool and so edgy. You know, SmackDown. You know, even the stuff with WCW, the Attitude Era. You're never gonna get an era like that back again. You're just not. It was too edgy. It was too cool. It was too different. It was a time in wrestling where characters just had to be edgy. It was an edgy time, and the fans were even better back then. As far as they're interactive with the actual show, you might get a really good crowd every now and then. It depends on which city. You know, like New Orleans, Chicago, New York, Atlanta. It depends on which wrestling city you go to. That's how the fans are going to act. You know, overseas, they react pretty well with the show. But back then, they were really, 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 really edgy all the time. All the time. So this is Warzone Jones. Those are just my thoughts, some of my memories about the Attitude Era. If you haven't done so, go ahead, click that subscribe button, subscribe to my channel. I'm out. Deuce.